good, I'm going to say, calendar date. And welcome to Richard and Karl present Deep Space and Dragons. I'm Richard. Some days I'm the protagonist.
And I am Karl, and I'm only on the days that the Mayan calendar tells me I am the protagonist. I gotta follow that Mayan calendar. I don't know what kind of calendar you guys are following. Maybe a lunar calendar, maybe the Gregorian calendar, but whatever calendar it is, just don't lose track of what day it is.
I worked really hard to set up my metric calendar so everything's in hundreds, like a year is 1,000 days, and each day is 10 hours, and each hour is 10 minutes, and it would infuriate everybody.
Well, yeah, apparently, actually, the international system, of the metric system, is they did have an attempt to implement metric time, but it was just way too hard to get everybody on board. I mean, not even everybody's on board with the metric system in general yet, so it's like getting the whole world to agree that we don't have 24 hours in a day. That's going to be messy.
That is deeply tragic and also not at all surprising. Like, imagine even trying to get people to meet up. When would anyone know when the meeting was if it's to meet up about metric time? And with that, let's move into... Actually, I'm going to start with the usual. What's new in the world of Karl? The Karlverse, the essay Karlos. I've been living in this house for a year now. We haven't been doing our podcast for that long yet, but I started on some projects while I was here. You know, I have a fake artificial sunlight window that I've been procrastinating on, and I have a sandblaster, a homemade sandblaster I've been procrastinating on. A couple of little projects like that. But with the lease coming up, I was kind of concerned that I would have to move out, and then I wouldn't be able to get a place with the garage. But the good news is, I found roommates to replace the person who moved out, and now we can just move to a month-to-month lease until my landlord decides that he actually wants to tear down the house, which might be never, because if we're renting it, he doesn't need to tear it down. That is excellent. It reminds me of the horror stories that with the chain of roommates I went through from age 19 to 23. But it is nice that you won't have a second house be turned into a parking lot. Which I hear doesn't happen to not Karl's.
Well, I mean, it's still not for certain, because the guy took a while to get back to us about renting up the house in the first place, because he was thinking about tearing it down. But due to pandemic that you guys might have heard about or experienced.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Lumber prices were ridiculously high. And so tearing down the house was not economical. So he said he would put us on a year lease, and then we'd move to month until he decided to tear down the house. The global situation doesn't really seem to be stabilizing.
I mean, Ontario is in denial. When I went to the campus last week, I'm like, I have a mask and I have like a vaccine port, and they're like, COVID's over. I'm like, there's no way this half-ass the guard just said that and shrugged. So I'm like, I proceed to then give a couple students a tour, but I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
But in any event, I mean...
Like, my gift basket still had a mask in it, so I don't think it's over, but I don't know. I'm pretty slow on the uptake. I'm the kind of person that'd be a divorce for a year before he realized it.
I went swimming, actually, this week, which was kind of uninteresting, but went swimming.
That's like my second favorite element.
The Civic Center still required that you wear masks to go and pay for your swimming, and then you take off your masks when you go into the change room. I was about to make a waterboarding joke,
but anyway.
Well, I thought that was kind of interesting, just because it's like everything else is like, no, you don't need masks anymore, and then the Civic Center is like, well, no, you still need a mask for those 5 minutes between when you come in the door and when you get to the change room.
Because I do enjoy the visual of trying to swim with a mask on.
Well, the regulations actually mandated that you're required to take off your mask when you're in the pool.
Yeah, because waterboarding. All right,
so what's new in the Richard verse? We'll say.
Okay, so first off, as always, I'm
I've basically been saying yes to every single student activity that comes up because despite my advanced age, I'm a paying student and I will get every penny out of this student title that I possibly can.
But yet, you are definitely living that professional student life right now.
It is delightful. So we did like a workshop on anxiety management. I did a panel in front of a bunch of people from the Ontario College Board about course renewals. I gave a full hour presentation on how to do group projects. I've been doing some tutoring type stuff. Like, I've been busy. A lot of students in my program have been submitting me work to read. People asking me about how they could set up an anonymous smut selling company. I told them that, well, you're both of age, but I don't want to ask questions, and I don't think I should have questions. Here's a tutorial of how to set up an Amazon page. Go nuts. It's like, no judgment here, but also I don't want any copability either. So
Right.
So I've just been super busy. I started jogging again after you told me I was going to die from sitting in my chair too much.
I didn't actually like. I didn't mean to inspire you to be more active, but at the same time, like, you know, being active is important for the health of your entire being.
And
really,
on that note,
right?
So we did have an original episode planned, but I'm going to put something past you to see what you think. So one of our most popular segments is the random question of the day. I have a list here that's called 36 questions that lead to true love. Would you like to go through this list of 36 questions with me for the sake of our bromance?
Well, okay, that depends. Is this true love or is this to blave?
Let's check it out. To fall in love, study psychologist Arthur Aaron, intimacy between two strangers can be accelerated by asking a specific question. The questions are broken into sets, with each set tending to be more intimate than the next one. Now, this seems fair for romancing.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure that my Princess Bride reference would fit in here.
Absolutely. All right, so question 1. If given the choice of anyone in the world, who would you want as a dinner guest?
Who would I want as a dinner guest?
There's no wrong answers, but I don't recommend Lex Luthor.
or Bruce Wayne.
I mean, it'd be a dope dinner with Bruce Wayne, though, like... Because he's buying.
See, I don't... That's a really, like, tough question. Like, anyone in the entire world, anyone throughout history, anyone in all of, like, fiction, like, geez.
Like, my first thoughts is, like, do I say me and go metaphysical and interview myself? Does it just, like, then operate a second me and then there's just two of me for the value play? Do I go Jesus? Is that worth it? Like, for just the implications? Do I say God and then it ends up being that pink-haired chick from Future Diary? You know, I apologize for my use of the word chick, but I do not apologize for my reference or my blatant attack on God there. Because last manga I checked, that's who's currently acting as God.
But, okay, well... So, hypothetically speaking, it depends on how, like, serious you want to get about this, because, like, you can only go back, like, I think it was 300 years before the English language has changed too much that you wouldn't actually be able to understand what the
I like
person's
these
saying,
parameters. I like what you're doing
English.
here. Let's put on the parameters of they'd have to know modern English, they cannot be fictional, and since I don't want to be slapped, it's not going to be Will Smith. So in that case, if I'm going real people I want to chat with, I'll let you go first.
I think I wouldn't mind talking with Samuel L. Jackson, because he's made a lot of really interesting movies, and he'd have a lot of insider knowledge about what's going on in Hollywood. And since Martin Scorsese called the Marvel Cinematic Universe a roller coaster ride, I've kind of been, like, actually interested in the future of video entertainment.
That is very fair. Like, very high up on my list would be either Neil Gaiman or Terry Pratchett if I'm going authors, because that seems like it'd be a very useful thing. But I'm going to go with, and this is going to be a controversial answer, I'm going to say Doug Ford. I want to ask him some blatant questions about the choices they've made over this dinner. Also, like Trudeau, I'd flip a coin, because I'd love to just sit there with Justin Trudeau in a dinner he cannot escape and ask him some very serious questions. Like, I would be, like, lacing this food with truth serum. And I asked this to some of the students a while back of the dinner question. They're like, can you use this as a way to get rid of an enemy? So, because I'm like, okay, well, like, do I just say Putin and then, like, poison the meal?
Are you trying to find your assassin true love here? Like, I thought that was
right.
All right. So that's question 1 of 36.
All right, let's move on to the next one. We're making good time. I feel like we'll get through this. Question 2.
Okay.
Would you like to be famous, and in what way? We already know the answer for me. Best-selling author, D&D themed swimming pool you can see from space.
I do want to be famous, but not as Karl Pohl.
Ooh, you want to be infamous. Please continue.
Not necessarily that I want to be infamous. It's more like if someone has a pseudonym and nobody actually like knows who the real person is.
Are you Banksy?
And then
you'd have to tell me if you're Banksy.
Okay, I made a Princess Bride reference already, but the Dread Pirate Roberts from the Princess Bride, the main character Wesley, he leaves to find his fortune, and then his ship supposedly gets sank by the Dread Pirate Roberts, but he becomes friends with the Dread Pirate Roberts, and then that guy decides that he wants to retire, so they get a whole new crew. The real Dread Pirate Roberts stays on as his first mate, convinces everybody that Wesley's the Dread Pirate Roberts, and then that story can continue, and he can retire rich with all the treasure that he got as a pirate.
So I love this.
I really like the idea that it's like, I have my own personal life and I can just like retire and pass the torch to anybody I want, really. But nobody actually knows who I am, so nothing has to change.
That is delightful. That was a really good answer. I'm falling in love already. All right, question 3. Before
okay. Oh yeah, you said you want to be a
yeah, like my face is already on a book.
Author,
it's pretty straightforward what my goal is in life.
Right.
All right. Before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you are going to say? And why?
Before making a telephone call?
I will upload it to be a Zoom call as well, because that will let you answer with what you want to say.
What? No. I don't actually make very many telephone calls. This is kind of almost a dated question. I mean, adding Zoom call in does...
or Discord or whatever, like any kind of pre-planned phone call. So any kind of pre-planned chat session would be fair game.
If I'm talking to someone in person, I think a lot more about what it is that I want to say. But if I'm calling someone, it's like I know that no amount of pre-planning will actually prepare me for what their answers are going to be, so I just wing it.
That's crazy, because I'm the exact inverse. Like, if I'm making a phone call, especially if it involves an actual telephone, like some kind of savage from the cave ages, I will have post-it notes with key points I need to hit. Like, for example, if I'm calling the dentist, I'll have my healthcare number and my phone number on a post-it note. So I can very smoothly bring up the points I need to. Like, for example, I did like 5 meetings this week, and I have like 17 virtual post-it notes, one for each one, like point 1, 2, 3, 4, but they're not rehearsed. They are like talking points, so if I get stuck, I know what I want to try and go with. So I've never rehearsed a phone call, but I've definitely had notes prepared.
Yeah, okay. All right, so what's the next question?
What would constitute a perfect day for you?
A perfect day or a perfect date?
Day. D-A-Y.
So when I went to Japan with your brother there, Richard.
Oh man, this is hilarious for so many reasons.
I mean, I really thoroughly enjoyed just like walking around Japan, going to all the touristy stuff, and the only thing that could have made that day better is if I had actually been able to find the swimming pool at my hotel.
That is fair.
That would be a perfect day. Like, not necessarily Japan specifically, but like just like walking, hiking, and like nature hiking, city hiking. It doesn't really matter. I actually really enjoy just like walking around and looking at stuff.
That's fair.
Like Jerry Seinfeld did a bit about how there's nothing more manly than just walking around looking at stuff. So it's like men wanted to go to the moon because, you know, it's just to go look around, see what's up there.
I mean, considering how many times me and you have just went wandering, yeah, no, that tracks.
What's your perfect day?
Well, thanks to the power of my ADHD, every time I get asked this question, the answer will probably be different.
Right.
Because, like, I've had some pretty good days. Like, when me and Cassie went to PEI and stayed in a cabin on a beautiful island and just kind of, like, enjoyed it is a pretty good day. Like, the thing is, I like a lounge day as much as I like an adventure, but adventures drain me out more. So, honestly, my perfect day is probably likely to involve a hot tub and a book at part of it. It's like, I want to spend the day part with people I enjoy having fun with, hanging out, and then I want to spend the evening relaxing and removing the stress from spending my day with people I love and want to hang out with. So, a perfect...
I have... Sorry, I was just going to say, I have always wanted to rent a hotel room with a friend and just have like a non-romantic like
a bromantic
hotel
vacation
night at in Moose Jaw where they have the mineral spa specifically.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be cool to like go see the tunnels and then
with a name that shall not be mentioned. I definitely did the Moose Jaw rooftop hot tub thing. I'm like, yeah, no, I think I'm gonna put that in my perfect day. Not because of the person I was with, hell with them, but the combination of nice hotel rooms, smooth drinks, and cool air out in a hot tub on the roof. Yeah, nah. Same with the magical healing hot springs. Those were pretty nice too.
Oh yeah, Waskasoo.
Yeah. All right, on to the next question. When did you last sing to yourself? And when did you last sing to someone else? I'll start with this one. Last sing to myself? So we had a class on musicals on Friday. Me and a classmate had tuned out for the class of musicals and were instead writing a musical in the chat log about drinking games. And there was a song about, it was a romantic ballad to pizza bagels. So it was me trying to hum along to come up with a romantic ballad about pizza bagels. So that's the last time I sung to myself. When's the last time you sang to yourself?
Well, I mean, I often sing to myself at work, especially if we get any like last minute deliveries and I have to sit around waiting for the delivery driver to come back. I really like the acoustics after all the equipment is turned off. I really like the acoustics in the front lobby, and I just like to sing while I wait for the drivers to come back.
So to someone else, and this story's just between you and me and our thousands of listeners. So in my first serious relationship, where I was desperately trying to be a romantic, I most definitely sang a romantic ballad on their voicemail so they'd pick it up and hear it. So I like tried to sing a love song into their voicemail. And that is the last time I've sang to somebody else, because several breakups later, in theory, they still might have that voicemail if they ever feel the need to extort me. It wouldn't work because I don't have shame, but recording myself singing a ballad to somebody else I was super into, not happening again.
The last time I sang to someone else,
was it my brother at karaoke in Japan? Because that'd be hilarious.
Well, it is the karaoke story, but not in Japan. It was there was a girl I was hoping to maybe hook up with, and I invited her to karaoke because she was in musicals, and like there was a Queen musical that she was doing, and she was like,
I mean,
she was the.
So part of me that's a practicing feminist has to be like to hook up with, but then again, it's also empowering because both genders are allowed to hook up. So as long as consent is involved, yeah, you can definitely take someone to karaoke to try and hook up with them. That's fair game.
Well, I mean, I made the plain mistake of of not picking her up. So then obviously she just kind of drove home afterwards. It was a good time. I enjoyed singing, and apparently she liked my singing voice.
I will say the plain mistake of letting them have access to transport to leave sounded a little creepy there, bud.
Well, okay. I mean, I'm just saying that it's like if you want the night to go beyond where you are, it's definitely
Use
like more
your
convenient to be like,
words!
okay, I can give you a ride. Like
Here's the thing. So if you're in this situation, they drove, you met up together. You could still say, want to come back to my place, we'll just Uber back to your car in the morning.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
You could just use your words. But
There are alternative ways, that's true. I just like,
But other than calling you out on things you've picked up from sitcoms growing up.
I guess I should stop trying to dig myself a deeper hole.
Yeah, you're done. It's over. I won that round. But at the same time, to rephrase, how'd you word the story differently? There's a girl I fancied who's into musicals, so I thought I'd go to karaoke, see if something happened. That could have been a really sweet story if you didn't tell it like Barney Stinson. Just pro tip. Don't try to be Barney Stinson. Be Neil Patrick Harris instead.
Okay, some of my other female friends afterwards were like, yeah, that was a play mistake. You should have picked her up.
Yeah.
If you wanted it to be a date, you picked them up.
I mean, no, you say, would you like it to be a date in words, using the word date, and then you pick them up. Like, consent is king, my friend.
Well, yeah, that's true. Consent is
That
key.
was your actual
I
play
also did
mistake, was not saying, would you like to go on a karaoke date, and use the word date.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But let's continue along, because we've made pretty decent things through set 1 of 3 sets of questions.
Okay.
Here's the next one. If you're able to live to the age of 90, and you can either retain the body or the mind of a 30-year-old, which would you want? So between the ages 60 and 90, you can either have the body of a 30-year-old or the mind of a 30-year-old.
That's a very strange question.
Right? I mean, I would take the body of a 30-year-old because even though if my mind starts to go, it won't be combined with pain. So even if I start being like forgetful and old person brained, I won't have the other countless health conditions that come with it. And I'd rather be like a less observant himbo than at peak intelligence and hurting to move.
I definitely agree. Because like if you start being old person brained, I suppose, brain fog.
Brain fog. Let's be polite about it.
Start having brain fog. It's
you're less likely to just die from
function.
it. Yeah, like
yeah.
If you like have a seizure and you're in the body of a 30-year-old, you'll probably recover.
Yeah.
So that feels like a pretty straightforward one. Also, I don't actually think people get dumber as they age. Not really. Like, most people I know in their 60s and 70s, I'm not going to say their mind would be better if they were a 30-year-old. That's not really how that works. Most of the problems are physical, not mental.
I would definitely like characterize a lot of it when people get older. It's not that they get less intelligent. It's that the brain fog is where it's just like... Sometimes it might just take a little bit longer to process something, or you might just like lose track of what you're thinking about, but not necessarily that you're any less intelligent.
All right, on to the next question. For what in life do you feel the most grateful? I'm really happy that I have a dope support system in check right now. Like I have good friends, a okay family member, a loving cat. My job and life are pretty good, but a lot of that comes from the support system. Like, I wouldn't have went back to school if I didn't have Cassie there as emotional support. Mm-hmm. And my life has gotten immensely better since going back to school. But that was based on the support system, you included. Because you'll recall me saying, if I go back to school and I'm about to die, how much money can you lend me in an emergency?
Yeah.
So, you're counted among that support system.
I feel like we're falling in love already, because this is 2 questions in a row where we basically have the same answer. Because, I mean, like, my secret fear, my mom says that she prays for me every day, and I'm a little bit concerned, because unfortunately everyone dies eventually, that when she passes and there's no one praying for me anymore, that my life will become horrible.
Oh my god, it makes so much sense. It's literally divine protection. That's why I got food poisoning and you didn't. You know the exact incident I'm referring to, too. We ate the same meal, and I was dead. It nearly killed me.
Could be divine protection. But yeah, my mom has told me that she prays for me every day, and I was like, oh, that's very, very sweet and loving of you, and I really appreciate my family and friends.
Yeah, my support
Because
system
family
is...
and friends are what makes life worth living, really.
Oh yeah, like, my family mostly consists of my cat and my brother, but my brother would be like, yo, loser, I picked us up some cookies. I'm like, that is delightful. If you're having a bad day and someone just did a grocery order of just chocolate wafers, that's a hero.
Right.
Alright, so to directly invert the last question, if you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be?
About the way I was raised.
Right?
See, that's like a butterfly effect question. Like,
Yeah,
geez.
so as I've put on the record, I'll answer this one first. I can't change things in the past because I know too much. And I know anything I change will horribly cascade. And remember how there was murder hornets and then they just disappeared? That's because somebody changed something and it turned into Omicron. So, I don't mess with time travel, it don't mess with me. But I will say in all seriousness, the biggest problem I had as a kid was my learning disability was treated like a remedial, you need to be in slower classes, when all I needed was a laptop. So the biggest thing I would change about how I was raised is my parents having any idea how the education system worked and giving me the tools to succeed. Because I'm pretty sure they were no longer smart enough to help me with my homework past grade 7. Just from lack of education. So that's one thing I would change is if my parents were both college graduates. That would be great. Without it queuing for butterfly effects, because this is like pass it forward for the next generation. Things I'd like is educational support for people who need it. But I wouldn't personally change my backstory because cascading changes.
I think I would just want more Lego. Like, what do I change about it?
Oh, wow. Smooth.
More Lego.
Nice, subtle, only changes the variant timeline by 0.01 and you get to be happier. Smooth. Alright, so this next question is a little heavy, so I'm going to say what it is, but just skip it, because it's take 4 minutes and tell you as much of my life story in detail as possible. We're going to skip that. The podcast doesn't need that one today. That one's a bummer. The next one, name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common.
Are you the partner in this situation?
Yes. That is how these questions work.
I mean, I was just wondering, just double checking.
Because I definitely could answer 3 things me and Cassie have in common. Like, for example, we'd like nothing more than to watch Turning Red while cuddled on the couch, eating Thai food this weekend, but such is life. But let's go me and you. So, first thing we have in common. We are straight white males. Woo!
I was going to say, okay, I've never actually used a pickup line ever. Because I'm not that courageous, but one of the worst pickup lines I've ever been able to imagine goes like
I'm pretty, you're pretty.
No, it's like I'm white, you're white. That means our kids will be white too.
Wow,
that'd be pretty terrible.
So that's terrible, but yes, we're both white and male. I'm gonna undo the straight one. I'm still like 70-30. Like Neil Patrick Harris or Link could take me away tomorrow. It'd be game over. Matt Mercer definitely would have a decent shot. But let's go with things we do have in common. Let's see.
We both like anime. That's pretty good.
We both play video games together.
Oh yeah. Wait, is this actually like 6 things, or?
I think we're
like
pretty much good to
us?
go. Like we have a lot of overlap. Like, for example, we both at one point thrown a cat and missed. And with that, we'll move on to the next question. All right, here's one. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would it be? I think this one ended up being submitted as one of our random questions.
One quality or ability?
So, I answered a random Twitter question the other day of, pick these 3 pills for which powers you'd have, because those love to make their rounds. And one of them was, you could wake up and choose your body type for the day. Weight, height, race, gender, all of it. I would love that power as a superpower. It's just to wake up and be like, yeah, I'm just going to be fit in 18 tomorrow, sure. However, if we're going actual human abilities, I would love JavaScript and HTML coding tomorrow. That'd be great. I could like triple down on the things I could do with my like digital presence. Oh man. I might take that class over the summer. So I'm going to go with programming skills. Or, I don't know, maybe a quality like empathy, but I think I'm good.
I think being a race car driver, like having the ability to drive race cars.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
I think you're limiting yourself.
Like,
go race car and stunt driver.
Yeah. All the skills of a race car and stunt driver. Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Nice. On to the next one. We're now in set 2. We did skip the tell our entire life story.
Right.
And we did skip the do you have a secret hunch about how you will die, because that was our very similar to our random question last week.
Well, we definitely did answer that one, although, because time is not linear, our audience probably hasn't heard the answer yet.
Well, then they'll have to wait. So, here's the next one. If a crystal ball could tell you anything about yourself, your life, future, or anything else, what is the one question you would ask it?
One question I would ask a crystal ball about my life.
I hate to do this, but I would ask it like this. With my current lifestyle, when do I die?
Oh, you want to know when you're going to die?
But remember, I phrased it with my current lifestyle, so it's not an absolute and it can be changed. So if it gives me a date and time, that can help me make adjustments to prevent it. But if you say, how do I die, you've now death noted yourself. You have to make sure to put in that wiggle room, because if it's like, it's like 90, I'm like, all right, cool, I guess I'm not going to start doing CrossFit. Don't want to jinx it. And if it's like 70, I'll be like, all right, goodbye, gluten.
Well, I mean, like, I would probably be pretty shallow. I'd be like, what's the fastest way I could make... Oh, no, see, that's a bad question. That's a bad question, because the fastest way to make money is to be evil.
It would just say evil. One word. And you're like, damn it, I knew it already. Screw you, crystal ball. Like, you'd have to be like, what's the best legal way I can increase my financial status? Or, here's a fun one you could do. I wouldn't do it for me, but for you, should be asking, what should I go back to school for?
Ooh, yeah, that would be...
Like, it won't even tell you why, but it'll give you some interesting information.
Yeah, that is true. That would give you a lot of information about yourself. Definitely better than the financial advice from the crystal ball, because...
All right.
I got my financial advice from a crystal ball. That's good.
Yeah, it told me to... It's kind of funny. It's just like, stop drinking. Thanks. Question 14. Is there something you've dreamed of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it? These questions are getting savage.
I've dreamt of going to Venice for a long time. Why haven't I done it? Well, because I don't have anyone to go to Venice with, and it's expensive to travel.
I see how these questions could be really effective as a first date. Like, that would have been so smooth. But tragically for you, I have not dreamed of going to Venice, and I have no desire to do it. I think what I've dreamed of doing for a long time, and try not to judge me too hard, is taking a summer off. And I haven't done it because I've never had enough money saved up to just take a summer off. Just to write and relax and enjoy life, like just straight up taking a summer vacation, like a full 2-month summer vacation, is something I've dreamed of doing for the last 10 years. It's so sad, but true.
Yeah. I've never really quite understood how people actually can, like...
Do that?
Do that in the modern day and age.
Right. All right, on to question 15. What is the greatest accomplishment of your life?
Ooh.
So,
way to put a capstone on yourself.
Right? So, I'm going to say I did enjoy being a best-selling author. That was pretty dope. But weirdly, I think getting hired on as a student's job is probably the greatest accomplishment. Like, going back to school so far has been the greatest accomplishment of my life. 30, quit my job, laid off, had to be a dishwasher, goes back to school, hits the honor roll despite being like a 50% student in high school, gets hired on by the school, shows up at a seminar. Yeah, no, that's a pretty good accomplishment. I went from being dropout academic idiot to a university that foreclosed to an actual, we want to hire you on to tutor level student. So that's my accomplishment.
Okay, so I think probably my greatest personal accomplishment, Final Fantasy III as released on the Super Nintendo, or 6 as released in the proper sequence of the series. they have this scene in the opera house where one of the characters is replaces an opera singer because they want to steal an airship. It's kind of convoluted, but point of the matter is that the musical score for this opera was pretty awesome, I thought. And so when I went to university, I had to do a recital.
Ooh.
And I arranged that for piano and horn.
That is dope.
And then I actually performed it at my fourth year recital, and that was definitely a lot of fun, and I think that was a pretty good to arrange a song like that and then actually be able to perform it live in front of an audience was
that's dope.
Was a pretty good accomplishment.
I am impressed with that one. I really thought you were gonna say, Final Fantasy 3? I beat it, yo. I was gonna be like, respect. Like, yeah, I beat Mega Man Zero. Best accomplishment in life.
Yeah.
Or like, I got 9th at a Pro Tour qualifier. But yeah, all right. Next question, and we're gonna do like 3 more and wrap it up.
Okay.
Next question: what do you value most in a friendship? I think I'll start up this one unless you want to go for it.
Well, no, the thing that I value most in a friendship is actually pretty straightforward. And my buddy Aaron, there are a lot of things about him that are somewhat annoying, but he has an incredible redeeming quality of being down to try anything.
That is fair. And
that's the number one quality for sure.
My number one quality is definitely stress added versus stress relieved. My best friends are the ones that reduce my stress levels. Mm-hmm. When I talk to you, I'm not going to have an anxiety spike. You're not going to stress my life out. You're not going to make me feel worse than before I called you. So my most valuable thing in a friendship is that it makes me feel better after spending time with someone, not worse.
Ah, well, that's very sweet of you to say that I don't make your life worse.
Well, one time, but as a general rule, you're good. Twice? Twice you've made my life worse. But the other, 1,000+ times, you're good. You have a pretty good track record. All right.
So just out of curiosity, the twice that I made your life worse was moving to Swift Current, and then the debacle when I moved to Saskatoon.
The Saskatoon debacle, and your friend shooting me with a water gun after my father was murdered in his sleep by a drunk coworker.
Yeah, okay.
That was bad. That person's lucky to be alive.
yeah, okay.
I'll shoot him with a water gun and give him a shot. No.
He has to work at 6 a.m. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you really should have stopped him just for your friend's safety. All right, so on to number 17, and 17 and 18 make a lovely couplet. What is your most treasured memory?
My most treasured memory?
Oh man, mine's brutal.
I'm not very nostalgic. I don't really treasure that many memories.
Alright, so here's mine. So after my father had passed away, we had pre-ordered Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. So I got a pre-order from a game from a deceased person, and the first line of text in the game is, "This Eevee is left to you by your father." That is crazy. That shit is insane.
Yeah, that's definitely...
And then it's like, I already loved Pokemon. I'm like, oh, nostalgia Eevee. So it was devastatingly sad, but also like a very treasured memory. Because that kind of encapsulated all the good things about my father in a single moment. That I got a post-mortem Pokemon from him. So, I don't know if that triggered any nostalgia for you, because your life has been less dramatic than mine, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't have the anime character backstory. I mean,
no, I'm like a D-rank hero. Like, I'm not like an Iron Man or a Captain America tragic. I'm like a Iron Fist tragic. You know, like kind of sad, I guess.
kind of sad.
Oh no, my parents are dead and they left me a fortune kind of sad. Not my parents were killed and I was beaten in the streets sad. You know, there's layers. Like, not Bruce Wayne sad, like the Flash sad, where he still has a living parent.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of all the memories that I have that are like...
Good?
Well, it's just like there's not really a reason to treasure it. Wow. To go kind of gross. one time I spent some time. I was at my grandparents' house, right, and I pooped my pants.
Wow. Not where I thought the story was going. There's just no way I could have guessed this. Continue.
And then for some reason, my grandpa just like made me wash out my underwear in the toilet, and it's like I remember that.
But you
and it's like, it's good that I have.
I think you answered the next question. So the next question
memory.
is, what's your most terrible memory? And I think you answered both like simultaneously there.
Oh no, my most terrible memory is when I tried to do a cool stunt off of the deck at my house in Martinsville. And then I landed on my stomach on the concrete instead of on the grass. Which I'm lucky I didn't land on my head, but that sucked.
So I have a lot of terrible memories, but I'm going to go a pretty recent one. So me and my brother had the COVID. And Miko had broken into the wall. So my cat was stuck in the wall because he'd climbed through a hole behind a fuse box and could not get out and was crying in pain. And me and my brother, as sick as humanly possible, had to remove a cat from a wall. We succeeded. But I just want you to know, if you've ever had to do a tedious task, do it when you can't breathe or see, and your body's just dead with the worst flu you've ever had in your life, and your cat's stuck at the goddamn wall. I've had worse memories, but that one sticks out, and that one's going to be there for a while.
Where's that treasure?
I bought you some time by answering the terrible memories, but what's your treasured one, sir?
Well, no, I don't know. I'm just not a very nostalgic person.
I will allow that to be your answer, and we're going to do one last question and wrap it up here.
Okay.
This one's kind of a brutal one because these questions get meaner the further we go.
Mm-hmm.
If you knew in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way you're living now? Why?
Ooh. If I knew I was going to die suddenly, that would definitely trigger a midlife crisis.
Oh, yeah.
For me.
Especially if it's a fact. My first instinct is to try and prevent it, but if it's a fact, I'm getting in so much debt.
Oh.
Although I like my life right now. I might just be in pure denial. To answer it first, I think I would do exactly what I'm doing and just be in pure denial. Because I don't have the means and resources to change the world in 1 year, right? Dropping out of school and then selling all my possessions to travel to India is not really going to do anything. And I'm actually pretty happy with my life right now, so I think I would just stay in denial and live the same life I'm living. I might rack up more credit card debt because I could die, but also might not. Even though I know for a fact. So I choose denial.
Okay, so you're gonna die suddenly.
Yes.
So this is like the whole crystal ball scenario where you ask them how you're gonna die, and it's you're gonna die in 1 year.
Let's say Death Note death, heart attack dead, done.
Yeah, heart attack dead. Yeah, well, I think my life would change the more I got closer and closer to the date, because I would probably do crazier and crazier things, but I would probably isolate myself more so I don't just die in front of the people that I actually care about. Be I'm just gonna
now I feel kind of
go on
sleazy.
a fun hiking trip.
So I'd probably keep doing what I'm doing because I'm enjoying my classes, I'm enjoying my colleagues. I'd probably get more and more credit card debt. I'd just see how many credit cards I could get.
Right.
If I know for sure I'm gonna die, I might as well have some funds. But I'm actually enjoying most of what I'm doing right now. But I would finally take that summer off and spend it with my girlfriend. But ironically,
right.
I want to make sure I die somewhere with the most impact. So I specifically make sure it was a screening of a bad movie or a political rally or something, so I could try and pin my death on the unjust cancellation of Full Metal Panic or something. Because if I know I'm dying anyway, I'm gonna be if you don't reduce the student tax you put on Mr. Trudeau, I will die right here, right now. And then I just do. Because if you go on TV and be I will die right here, right now, if you don't fix this, and then you actually just do? What do they do? How do they not look like the asshole here? Did I kill myself? There's no signs of poisoning. He just died. He was just so mad that you lied about election reform that he died on the spot in front of you.
Was literally crushed by student debt.
Yeah, so that's the one difference, is I'm making sure to die in a big public manner and blaming the death on something.
Yeah. Where I'm planning on dying in a cabin in the woods.
I mean, aw. Also, ugh. Poor next person that finds it. And with that, I think we'll wrap up here today. We don't have a random question of the week because we've just done so many random questions. But
Yeah.
thank you everybody for tuning into our podcast. If you like our content and want to watch more of our bromance, we definitely stream on Twitch most Thursdays. Possibly coming up Sundays. We're still figuring that out. The Waltz of Blades Deluxe Hardcover Edition is on sale. Beautiful art by A.G. Nonsuch. Check it out. They're a fantastic artist. And if you ever need to try and get topics or questions for our episode, you can reach out by posting comments on any of our YouTube videos, and we'll be more than happy to spend far too much time overanalyzing whatever you say. If we get a direct comment that says we need an episode explaining why Batman is lawful evil, we will bring out charts. We will bring out graphs. We will bring the truth to you through our subjective opinion.
Well, yeah. I mean, on the topic of other ways to support us, I should note that you said we stream on Thursdays, but that's
Tuesdays.
not
Did I
true.
not say Tuesdays?
You said Thursdays.
So Tuesdays, we stream on Tuesdays.
Also, definitely buy the hardcover copy of Richard's book because, like,
It's gorgeous.
he needs to continue being a professional author/student. So,
I really
and
am.
also, the more you support it, the more likely he is to actually write part 2 over the summer.
Thank you for that shout out, and take care and have a lovely afternoon, everybody, or evening, or morning, or romantic dinner. Take care, bye.
Or whatever calendar date it may be.
No,
for
no.
you.
Everyone who's watching this is having a romantic dinner right now listening to our podcast. Every single one of them. And if they're not, get your life right.
Asking each other these romantic questions to fall in love.
Absolutely. If that was our impact today, mission accomplished. And we're going to stop recording here. I honestly think that went really well.
Yeah, I think that went pretty well.
I mean, I know I might have
Terrible
accidentally
people.
seduced you with my charm, but Cassie will cut you.